Hello, one and all, and welcome to the podcast we call the Fantastival with myself, Stephen Nussbaum. In the podcast, where I invite my guests to come on, talk to me all about their musical taste, their memories, their experiences, and they get to collate their fantasy festivals, which I have christened Fantastival. We are now on episode number 114, the final Fantastival of the year. As this goes out, there's only 2 weeks left to Christmas Day. And before we crack on with this one, I'll just say a massive thank you to Joe Adamar, who was a great guest. He talked about music production, about Bandcamp, about his great new album that's on all streaming platforms. So if you've not yet listened to that one, go and have a listen to his podcast, and then get yourself over to Spotify or any streaming platform, or over to Bandcamp and go and check out his About the Soul album. It's an absolute masterpiece and I love it. So like I said, it's Christmas time and I wanted to do something big and bold, and after having the guys on from Mind Aid last year, I wanted to do something similar. So I thought I'd get 5 Fantastival podcast legends back in the building to collate a Christmas fantasy festival that will be spoken about for many years to come. And I think I've got the perfect lineup. So I'm going to introduce the guest list because all 5 take top billing anyway. But I'm going to do this in order of their first appearance on the podcast. So first up, this wonderful lady now holds, or will hold, the Fantastival podcast record appearance. This is her 3rd time on the Fantastival podcast. She was my guest in 74. She followed that up the week after because she couldn't stay away in the Christmas special from last year, number 75. So she's back. This is the one and only Jodi Findlay, aka Sylvie. Jodi, welcome back to the Fantastival podcast.
Thanks for having me again. I forgot I was on. This is the 3rd. Sorry. Oh.
Pleasure to have you back, Jodi. I mean, what a year it's been for you, right? We spoke last year about your aims for 2022. I guess they've probably exceeded all your expectations. You've had singles, you've done gigs, you had a documentary. It's been quite a big year for you.
It's been good. I can't remember what I said last year now, what I wanted to happen in 2022. But yeah, a few things that I'd sort of written down. I think that's something that I've sort of started believing in now. Like, if you write it down, then you can work towards it. And yeah, but other than that, like, it's actually the past couple of months, it's been quite quiet because I moved out of the city into the middle of nowhere. So I'm a bit boring now.
That's not true.
Never.
No, I can't believe that. But thank you for coming back onto the podcast. Looking forward to talking to you more and finding out who your Christmas act this year is going to be. So that's the first guest on this podcast. Second guest, and this lovely lady made her Fantastival debut back in number 81. She blew us all away with Kentallen with Kimbo. So she's back. And it can only be the one and only. It's Kimberley Forsyth. Kimberley, welcome back to the Fantastival podcast.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Steve. Yeah, it's lovely to be back. Thank you for asking us on. I don't know if you know what you've let yourself in for, mind you, but here we are.
Do you know what? I've been looking forward to this for the last couple of days, so it's a pleasure to have you on. And Kimbo, it's been quite a year for you as well, right? I mean, 2022, you've gone and kicked Olive's arse, that I'm absolutely delighted about, and well done for that. You put on another Sessions, which went down an absolute treat, and your family seems to be expanding musically, and your brother seems to be putting out a single every week, which has all been fantastic. So quite the year for you, Kimbo.
Quite the year, yes. Olive has been kicked into the long grass. Woohoo for that. Yeah, and feeling much better and just getting back to my life and feeling much more Kimbo. So it's been a year. It's been emotional, but yeah, I'm just loving doing all the gigs, spending time with all these lovely ladies on the screen, and yeah, really excited for what 2023 might hold for my brother as well. So I think we're going to try and get him on your podcast at some point. So always supporting all of the artists, but I really need to look after my little brother. So yeah, I'm his main PR person. Yeah.
Your little brother will definitely be on the podcast in 2023. Yay. We'll definitely sort that out. So 2 so far. Third guest. So if you cast your minds back, episode 87, I went off to Belfast for Under the Big Yellow Cranes. And you must know who this is. Ladies and gents, she's back. It's the one and only, the best hat on the call by a mile. It's the one and only Paula Cee. Paula, welcome back.
Hello. Thank you. Nice to be back.
Paula...
I did give you a bit of abuse about saying the word yellow. I was like, wind your neck in, Paula.
Deservedly so. So I've learnt my lesson now. It'll always be yellow. But how's your 2022 been, Paula? Seems like you've had a very busy year.
Yeah, well, I think just before or whenever the other episode, we were just about to do our episode 1 of the Shits and Giggles. It was in the pipeline, but it hadn't been all sort of confirmed or anything. So that obviously took off, and that's going from strength to strength. We have been in some of the top 9th, was it? Comedy awards or something, comedy pods. So who knew we were so funny? But we've been on that. And then bizarrely, I helped run the gig in Belfast for Dan. So those are sort of two things that sort of came out that this time last year weren't even on the radar. So no, it's been a good, busy year.
I plan on talking a bit more about Shits and Giggles once everyone is introduced and given that a nice plug. And I was going to mention the gig. Seemed like it went down really well, Paula. Red Eye Pariah,
Look, it did.
Brother Vice and the Banes, who I had on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, and the great guest there.
You had the Banes on? Yeah, no, they're really nice guys. They came up from Athlone, so that was actually their first gig ever as their band it was, so you wouldn't have thought that at all. And then there was also 2 local acts as well. So there was Red Eye Pariah, who, they've had a few, and even though they've only been going about a year and a bit themselves, they're like really polished. And then Brother Vice. So no, I think it went down well, and obviously the ladies came over for that too, so that was nice as well. They came over to support.
Amazing. The videos look great. Well done on that, Paula. It's no easy feat putting a gig on. So that's 3 so far. 4th guest making her 2nd appearance on this very podcast. She was my guest in number 92, collated the excellent Subconscious Stereo. She's back. It's the awesome, although she's at work, but you can't have everything. It's the one and only, it's Laura Horton.
Hey, hiya. Thank you for having us.
Laura, welcome back to the podcast. How are you, and how's your 2022 been?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Yeah, a bit like the others, really. I think we're just literally going to be saying the same thing. Really busy with gigs. I think we worked it out that I think I average at least 1 a week, possibly 2 a week for 2022. So yeah, really, really busy. And obviously, I've now done a year as manager of Nice Guy. So been really exciting year for them. They've had 4 singles out this year, and they've gone from strength to strength from each one. Yeah, and we're just trying to map out 2023 at the minute with a new EP, their first EP, and we're working really, really hard to get them on some festivals. So yeah, exciting times.
Great stuff. I thought their last single, Laura, Corona, was a very, very strong single. So congratulations to Nice Guy and yourself for putting out some amazing tunes last year. Excited to see where 2023 goes for the guys. So last, definitely not least, episode 95 saw me joined by our final guest to reveal. And you probably know who it is already. And if you don't, then you probably shouldn't even be listening to this podcast. But ladies and gentlemen, it's the legend who put on her Music's the Law Fantasy Festival. It's Laura Jane. Welcome back to the podcast, Laura. And you've had a massive year, right, musically. It feels like ages ago, but it was only this year that you released Kiss Me on a Friday Night, which we spoke all about. Not only that, since you've been on the podcast, you've done a gig, right? And I remember the build up to that and how nervous you were, but it seemed to go really well. So how's your year been, and how's your music year been?
I mean, it's been a fabulous year. I've been able to spend so much time with these guys, which has been amazing, especially because we all have such a very, very close bond, if you hadn't gathered. A couple of us have been on holiday a few times together and away together so many times. So from us sort of meeting about 2 years ago, wasn't it, girls, that we all sort of started talking and things, and then we had a year sort of through the COVID period, and then we all met up, and since then we've just been everywhere together and really having really, really good fun. Musically, it was April time, wasn't it? That I can't even remember. That I released Kiss Me on a Friday Night. I was hoping to have some more stuff out by now, but unfortunately I was supposed to be recording a couple of weeks ago, and I was really poorly and lost my voice, which you can probably hear on a couple of our episodes that we were all struggling so hard to talk. Yeah, and it just happened that I was supposed to be recording. So I've just pushed all that back until the beginning of the year now. So early next year I'll have something else out. And hopefully there'll be a few in quick succession as well. So, yeah, it's been a great year. Real good fun.
Great stuff. Looking forward to seeing where 2023 takes you. And like Paula mentioned, 4 of you combine your powers and you host the excellent Shits and Giggles, right? So it's been a couple of months now, right? How anyone can answer this. How have you found working together? How have you found the show? Has it surprised you how difficult it's been? I guess let's just talk about the show for a little while. How's it all been for you?
They're an actual nightmare, to be fair. You know what I mean? The fact that we have to see each other this often, it's just like, it's starting to take its toll now, I'm not going to lie.
Little laugh, you know, and say daft shit.
Yeah, it's the best. It's just the best. Like, we have so much fun. And I think was our first episode like, was it February?
No, it must have been after March.
Was it after March? Was it?
Yeah, it must have been the 1st of April, around that.
Yeah, because then we went away, didn't we, in April? So it was just before that, wasn't it, that it went out?
Okay. Yeah, but like LJ was just saying, you know, that time that was spent, and when we were all in like Paula's kitchen the other week in Belfast, we were like, how did we get here? You know, and it just feels like we've known each other like forever.
It is just a really special bond that we've all got together, and so working on the show just doesn't feel like working on the show. I remember one time when we were all we'd all had a really pissy day, hadn't we? Can you remember? And we all got on there and we were like, rah, when we first started, and we're all in a really, really bad mood. And by the end of that sort of like hour and a half, we were all just laughing and we'd had so much fun, and we sort of got off recording. We all went, that made me feel so much better. It's just nice. It's just the bond that we all have together, and you know, it's not like work at all, is it? We have good fun with it.
No, not at all.
We've met so many amazing people, and we've had some incredible guests as well, and I suppose just the interaction that we get from people as well. You know, just the episode that went out this week, I'll let Paula speak about that a bit in terms of the safe gigs for women, but honestly, you know, and we couldn't do it if the people weren't listening. It's a bit like yourself, Steve, you know, the support that we get for it, it's been incredible.
So Paula, talk about this week's episode, because it's quite a serious subject matter that seems to have been received, from what I can see, really well, with a really important message.
Yeah, well, obviously, I think we're on about episode 10. So the way we do it is we all take a turn of anchoring it, and it's basically whoever's, you know, in charge, it's their concept. So it's whatever they want to do. They would usually pick the guests, get in contact with the guests, sort of do like a brief overview of the way you think you want it to go, but then obviously everybody else has their input. So we would have like three segments. So we talk about, so it is like Shits and Giggles, which is basically talking about gigs. So our first bit, we obviously talk about the gig part, and then it was actually, I had wanted to, for my next one away back probably about 5 months ago, I had wanted to discuss the topic about safety in gigs and gigging alone. And I think it was actually just after what had happened to Laura, put it into my mind again. So I had been speaking to Faye from Almost Famous, from the Speakeasy, and she was saying, you know, Tracy from Safe Gigs would be a really good guest to come on, you know, if you were wanting to discuss that. So got in contact with Tracy, and did obviously like a wee bit of work reading about it, the blog, and the fact that like the architects are involved in that campaign. Frank Turner is involved in that campaign from the New Artist Yard Act in their latest tour. They were supporting it as well. So it is something that it does affect us all. And, you know, like if you've listened to the episode, 3 out of the 4 of us have had, like, obviously not as horrible as what happened, obviously, to Laura there in the summer, but we've all had some sort of incident that makes us feel uneasy. And I'm sure Jodi will tell yourself, you know, that she hasn't had a female in the, you know, the music world, had times where she has maybe felt a wee bit uneasy about. So I got in contact, and Tracy did it. And, you know, I know it is a busy time of year, so a lot of people do pick it up in, you know, like listen up at the weekends and things. So there will still be people that will comment afterwards. But, you know, if 10 more people can go out and either read into it, and then they, like, it's like the domino effect that you hear about it, you pass it on to somebody else, they pass it on to somebody else. And like, I think as we all said, it's not just a female issue. You know, we all have our part to play. If you go to a gig, if you organise gigs, if you see your friend being it, like it's flat or whatever, you know, we've all got our part to play. So, no, I think it's one of the ones I'd be most proud of, you know, ourselves. I think it was like, they've all been good, all been really good guests, but I sort of think, you know, that was like a good meaty issue to involve herself in. So, yeah.
Great stuff.
All
So
good.
the plan for 2023 then, ladies, is to keep Shits and Giggles going, right? So it has not only 2022 thing, it's ongoing now, and we've got many more to look forward to next year.
Well, Laura keeps saying, oh yeah, let's get a stage at Kendall Falling. So who knows, maybe that's
I keep banging on about it, don't I? But yeah, if we keep pushing that, you never know. We might get a stage somewhere.
You never know.
Looking forward to seeing where that one goes. So I guess let's talk about 2022 then in terms of music. So I was thinking about my favourite albums today. So I wrote a few of mine down. I've fallen in love with the Lizzo album. I love Lizzo. I'm taking my daughters to see her next year for their first gigs. I can't wait for that. I've got Bryan Adams' October Drift. I thought was an amazing album. Brand New Zeros. I had Ronan McManus on about 4 weeks ago, and I've listened to that album pretty much every day since having him on. I've also got some shout outs for Embrace. Thought their new album was amazing. The Shed Project. And I've also gotten into loads of bands through this very podcast. Loads of the bands who I've had on haven't actually put albums on yet. Otherwise, I'd be talking about a lot more bands. There's also bands who put out albums earlier than this year, so I'm not going to mention them. Otherwise, I have too many to mention. But loads of great albums this year. Loads of great gigs as well. I saw the Taylor Hawkins gig. I was really lucky to see that. I went to see Biffy Clyro about 3 weeks ago, who were amazing. I went to see Queen of Adam Lambert, which was a very surprisingly great gig. I loved that one. And again, I saw Bryan Adams 3 times. That's been an amazing year for music and gigs for me. I'll go backwards with how I introduce you all. So, Laura Jane, what have been your musical highlights of 2022?
Oh, it has to be Kendall. We had such a fabulous time when we went to Kendall. The amount of different music that we got to hear, seeing some of our friends playing, not only on the littler stages, but, you know, we know the K's and we speak to them, and seeing them up on the main stage was just absolutely fabulous. So, yeah, Kendall Calling was a massive, massive thing for me, because I'd done one sort of big festival before, which was Jersey. And other than that, I hadn't really done the festival sort of thing. And even in Jersey, I never got to stay over in the tents. And so the atmosphere was absolutely amazing. We never saw one bit of trouble while we were there. For the amount of people that there were, it was just absolutely unbelievable. It was just such a good vibe and just such a good time that we had. Another marvellous one for me was seeing my friends, the Great Leslie, playing with Franz Ferdinand in Manchester. Although it was the most stressful times trying to get there. It took me 3.5 hours to get there. Then there was a match playing at Old Trafford, which was right next to the venue. There was nowhere to park. I ended up parking illegally, running as fast as I could to the venue. But yeah, I still managed to just get to see them. So it was fabulous. Just these things that I would never in a million of years, 2 years ago, thought that I'd be doing these things. And then, of course, kicking off with the Shits and Giggles and these girls it's just been amazing. It's just been such an amazing time.
Great stuff. Sounds like you've had a fantastic year. What about you, Laura? Other Laura, how's your 2022 been? What have your musical highlights been?
Oh, goodness me. Yeah, again, so many. And I've crammed that much in this year that, and it's been a real privilege to see, actually. So some artists, particularly like the new music artists that I've seen kind of countless times now, and to see them evolve and see them develop over the last, over this last year since coming out of COVID has been really special. And so from them putting out new music to EPs and some people with albums, that's been really, really exciting. Again, I've been really fortunate to go to several festivals. Went to Kendall with these guys, and went to Neighbourhood with Paula, and then Shine with Laura. And honestly, I don't go anywhere without these guys. Obviously, it's kind of a thing. But for me, as well as obviously the things that everyone else has mentioned, I think for me, the sessions. I think that was probably one of my most special moments of this year, and just to see a group of people come together, from artists to supporters to even the venue, all kind of there for the same cause, and predominantly that's our Kimberley, was just a really special time. And I don't think I've had that experience or will have that experience again. It was something really, really special.
Oh, very sweet there. Yeah, I'm absolutely glad I missed that one. It looked amazing, and so many names who I'm so now much more familiar with than I wasn't at the time, and I wish I'd been able to get there. So thanks for that, Laura. That was a very special moment now. I can tell in your voice the way you're talking about it, how special that is. So Paula, it feels like every weekend when I'm on social media, you're on a plane somewhere, going to a gig with one of these ladies somewhere.
Well, I'm actually at home this weekend, and I'm not out on Saturday at all, so I'm not telling anybody I'm home because I want to just do nothing. Laura has actually stolen mine. Kendall was one of them, but the sessions for me was, again, just like as Laura has said, just even if you've seen the video that LJ took at the end, whenever everybody was in a circle singing the Heavy North, and it was just happiness on everybody's face. Nobody knew the camera was on them. There was Edie, there was Gemma, there was all the girls, there was Gil, just all singing. And I'm not usually very soft. I'm not very emotional, and I actually did shed a wee tear, like just looking over at Kimberley and knowing what she had gone through, and the fact that everybody was just there for her, you know, really was. Even the whole day, as Laura said, just seeing all the artists coming in, performing for free, coming in, knowing Kimberley's story, doing their set, getting really well received, and the crack in the place was really good. Another thing that Laura has sort of, like both Lauras have said, seeing your friends do well. So again, a few of them featured on Tim Burgess's listening parties. The Institutes, for example, featured, you know, in one of their listening parties as well, Apollo Junction. So, you know, seeing your friends, you know, because they are like, they have become your friends now, seeing them do well, and even like in Kendall going to tents and things and seeing other people outside the Twitter family going and seeing Revivalry or the Silver Bars or something, and just listening into their conversations about how good they are. So yeah, they're probably three of my favourite parts of the year. And also, sorry, I should also say the Heavy North gig in their sellout gig in Liverpool as well. You know, I think did they read that was 500 people at it, and again, just seeing how they were on stage, you know, that you could tell that really meant something to them. So yeah, those are some of my bits too.
Great memories there, Paul. And what about you, Kimbo? Obviously, I guess the sessions is probably your standout, which has already been spoken about. What are your musical highlights?
Definitely the sessions, and thank you guys because you're making me emotional, and I know Jodi still got to speak. So the sessions for sure, and keep your eye out because there might be plans for more. So I think in terms of signed acts, and as you know, because I mentioned Phoebe Bridgers on my Fantastival podcast, I got to see her this year at the Badlands, which was my first time at the Badlands actually, and just being able to be in the same room as Phoebe Bridgers, I'm surprised I never fainted, but it was just amazing. And Alanis Morissette as well, I got to see her at the Hydro, so that's been a standout for me in terms of like signed acts. But everything the girls have said about Kendall, it was just an amazing experience, and we're going back again next year, so that's going to be incredible. And I think one of my favourite venues that I've done this year actually was at the Caves in Edinburgh, and got to see Dictator, Arcade State and the Raz all in one night. And when we all went there in April, just met loads of people from Twitter that I hadn't met before as well. So that was just a really, really lovely evening, and meeting people and just everything that everybody said about that. And also, I'm not just saying this because she's on the call, but watching Jodi on stage at King Tut in her very pretty red dress, literally burning hot. I was there with my brother, Michael, and you know when you just when somebody just has a moment and you're just like, wow, this girl needs to be heard. Absolutely, it was amazing, and I can't wait to see what she's doing next year as well. So it's been incredible. I'm just gigging all the time. I just love it. I would like to give up work and just gig for a living.
Yes.
This is what I do.
To win the lottery.
What I do. Yeah.
Great stuff. Great memories there, Kimbo. And Jodi, what about yourself? You've been mentioned as someone else's great musical memory of 2022. What were your memories for 2022 from a music perspective?
I'm going to sound like I'm just echoing everyone else, but the sessions was not just this year, but one of the best days of my life in terms of getting to meet people who I've really felt like I've built bonds with online and stuff, and then getting to see people play live. And yeah, it was a really, really special day. Like, on a personal note, it was the gig that I did after a really bad experience that I'd had, like, when was the session? It was the 18th of June.
Yeah.
I'd had like a gig at the end of May, and it was the worst gig of the year. It was the worst gig I've ever done of my life, and it was a really negative experience. And the fact that the sessions was the one to follow that and be the one that sort of pulled me out of that really negative space in my life was like, I'll get emotional talking about it, but it couldn't have came at a better time. And it's crazy because I think like every musician will have a point in their life where they go, I don't know if I can do this anymore. Like, there's sometimes it gets really tough and you think to yourself, should I keep going? And the sessions was the thing that totally pulled me out of it and like made me be like, yeah, this is what I want to do, not just for a career but just music in general. It's just such an amazing thing in my life and the people I've met through it. So yeah, really just the best time ever. And my mum came, and yeah, it was just brilliant, and getting to see the Heavy North so intimately was fantastic. And yeah, headlining King Tut's as well was a good one for me, because again, it was like a chance to sort of prove a point to myself that I could do it. And it's funny because at the beginning I said like I wrote down stuff, and that was one of the things I wrote down, like I wanted to headline King Tut's, and there was never any. It was so far off. Like this time last year, headlining King Tut's was just like completely out of my league, and to think that I ended up doing it was massive. So yeah, it's been a good year, definitely, but the session's just the best.
Brilliant. And we'll find out all about hopes and aspirations for 2023 after we go through with the upcoming bit of this podcast, which will be getting guests. So our 5 guests this week get to collate their Christmas Fantasy Festival. So all 5 get to choose one act and one Christmas song to collate their Fantasy Festival. So last time I'd done this was episode 75, and I had, like I mentioned, some previous guests on who created their Mind Aid Fantasy Festival. Jodi, do you remember last year? You picked the open act last year. Do you remember who you picked? Because I didn't until I went and recapped the lineup from last year. So you picked Christina Aguilera last year, and you picked her to sing Please Come Home for Christmas. Lottie picked Freddie Mercury to sing White Christmas after that. Jilly from Distant Images picked Kate Bush to play Walking in the Air. What a year Kate Bush has had. Pre-headline, Macca from Distant Images picked Pink Floyd to play Last Christmas, which is amazing. I remember laughing at the time, thinking that's genius. And Jordan from Arcade State, my boys, picked Biffy Clyro to play Christmas Time, Don't Let the Bells End. And for their encore, they all picked Mind Aid and the acts from Mind Aid to play that. So a bit of a different slant on the Fantastival, but not too much. So we're going to go over that now. And I don't know if this has been discussed, but we have to give our Christmas Fantasy Festival a name, and I'm not sure if that's even been discussed. I certainly don't think I've referenced it beforehand anywhere.
I actually have.
Oh, you have?
You know me, Stephen. So I haven't said this, so work with me. So at Christmas time, you think of Christmas crackers. Now, being from Belfast, we talk about having the crack, and we are all hers, as in HER. So it's a Christmas crack her. RAIC, and then a wee space, and then HER.
Love it.
Drop mic,
yeah.
That's amazing. I thought there was just going to be just loads of interaction and discussion, but I think you've absolutely nailed that one, Paula. I think you've outdone yourself there.
I don't want people, mind you, to get mixed up with another her bit of at the end.
Genius. All right, so we've got ourselves a fantastic title, and I'm well aware we've got Paula in Belfast, a few of the ladies in Scotland, north of the border, Laura and Laura Jane are in the UK. But we can go anywhere for our Christmas Fantasy Festival. Last year we went to the North Pole. We can go back there if you ladies want, or we can go anywhere that you want to go. So any suggestions of where we should hold It's a Christmas Crack Her?
I actually have another suggestion. Christmas Island, because it's warm.
Island, because it's warm.
Christmas Island.
Yeah, we can go to Christmas Island.
Christmas warm.
On the beach. Has it got a beach?
On the beach. I think it's an island that we'll take it over.
Boss, we'll definitely take over.
All right, let's go to Christmas Island to hold our Christmas Fantasy Festival. So we've got a name, we've got a venue, so now all we need is 5 acts and 5 Christmas songs to go and complete our Christmas Fantasy Festival. In terms of lineup, Sylvia, you went first last year, so I feel like it's unfair to ask you to go first this year. So Kimberley, you're on my screen, you're right below me, so I'm going to ask you can go first and pick the openers for It's a Christmas Cracker.
Okay.
Who would you
I'm
like?
very excited about this. I'm very excited about being able to take these people to an island with me and keeping them there.
Kimberley, who are we taking?
Who am I taking? I'm taking the Heavy North. I'm living on an island with Kenny from the Heavy North. It's happening. And I'm going to ask them to play a song that I know mostly from the Eagles singing it, and it would be one that I would have on in my car over Christmas time, and it's Please Come Home for Christmas. So given that it was originally written by a blues singer, I'm pretty sure Kenny and the boys will absolutely nail it. So that's my pick.
That's a great choice. I think knowing Kenny's voice, Kenny will absolutely nail the vocal on that, and I think Jose will have a field day doing the guitar solos in between as well.
Absolutely.
Great choice. So the Heavy North are going to open up our Christmas Fantasy Festival and play Please Come Home for Christmas. So after that, we'll have our super second act. No one's on my screen. So shall we have Paula? Paula, do you want to do the super seconds act and say who you want to have?
Well, my song is Total Cheese. Everyone, that one last year was very cool. But mine is my ultimate Christmas song. I always think Christmas a party, so it's Shakin' Stevens. Merry Christmas, everyone.
And do you want
Sorry, everyone.
No, it's great. I love it.
That's an absolute tune. Do you want Shakin' Stevens to perform that, or are you having any?
No, definitely not. And I've actually, in the course of this conversation, I was originally going to go with Nile Rodgers and Sheep, who are amazing. They would bring the party, but I'm sort of thinking if we're going to this island having a bit of crack, I'm going to bring Apollo Junction, because they're a big inflatable thing and they'll be good crack.
They're inflatable thing, careful.
They're a big dinosaur. They can bring a big Santa instead.
Is that what you call it, Paula? Big Santa? Great stuff. So Apollo Junction are coming with us. Merry Christmas Everyone by Shakin' Stevens. They're going to play. It's going to be epic. Then it'll be time for our Midway Madness. So Laura, Jane, let's go over to you then. So who are you going to have come with us to the island, and what song are you going to have them play?
So I am going to bring the great Leslie with me to Christmas Island. Yes, and the song that I would like them to sing is A Spaceman Came Travelling. I think it's got a lovely little story to it with a little bit of a twist, just like them. I think Ollie would bring some absolutely fantastic vocals to that song, and they would really rock it up a bit. I think it'd be a brilliant one for them to cover. They did a lot of covers last year. If you go and have a little look at them on TikTok, they did the 12 Days of Christmas on there, but they didn't cover that one. I'd like to hear it.
Great stuff. All right, so the great Leslie are coming. They're going to play A Spaceman Came Travelling. Are any of you ladies on TikTok, by the way? I can imagine
Yes.
you are. I can imagine you.
It's only really me.
Jodi is.
I can imagine you girls doing some great TikTok content and having some great interaction.
We've talked about it quite a lot, haven't we? We've never yet done one. So next time we meet up, we'll see what we can arrange.
So
Paula and I are shaking our head like, nah.
No, Paula, it was their idea
wants to do it.
Which one was it? She was like, no, do the one where they go, do.
I'll be the director. Do it.
Great stuff. So we see where TikTok takes us in 2023 and up and coming format. Hopefully Twitter still exists in 2023 and hopefully it's still as engaging as what it has been. There's been a lot of stuff on Twitter the last couple of weeks. So the great Leslie make their Fantastival podcast debut. So Laura Horton, let's find out who you're going to have. You can have the pre-headliners for this one. So Laura, who are you going to bring to our island and what are you going to have them play?
Wow. I got a lot of stick for not including these guys last time, and so I've had to go with Nice Guy. I don't think I could go a second one without kind of involving them. So, and I've got so many favourite Christmas songs, and my favourite Christmas song is Christmas is not like it was in the 80s by Futureheads, but none of them are old. Well, only a couple of them are old enough to make that song, so I can't make them do that one. So I kind of put it out to the lads, really, and I'm just looking now on WhatsApp, and they haven't come to a consensus at all. They've given us loads of different ideas.
Never, Laura. Never.
Exactly. So actually, Josh did suggest this, but it's a lovely song, and actually, the crappy few years that we've had, actually, it's really, really poignant, and even more so the fact that it's the anniversary of his death today. I'm going to go with John Lennon, and Happy Christmas, War is Over.
Great shout. I didn't actually know it was the anniversary of his death, so that makes it even more poignant. So,
yeah.
Nice Guy make their Fantastival debut eventually, Laura, so thank you for including it.
I might get a Christmas card now.
You might get... So, we welcome them onto the Fantastival podcast roster. So 4 acts down, 1 act left. So Jodi, you get the final act and the final Christmas song for this Christmas Fantasy Festival. So Jodi, who are you going to have play, and what song are you going to have played?
Okay, I'm going to be on the naughty list for this because everyone else has picked like bands that we know, and I've gone for someone that none of us know. So I would like Frank Ocean, and I would like him to sing "It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas."
And what's the thing?
Dropping this beat like it's beginning to look a lot like he would just do it really cool.
Great.
He, like run like it would just be really cool.
Great shout. I look forward to seeing that. That sounds like an amazing artist with an amazing song to sing. So Frank Ocean, It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas. So I guess at this point we normally have an encore where we'd get the Heavy North to play with Apollo Junction, the Great Leslie, Nice Guy, and Frank Ocean, and they get to sing any song. So I guess we get to suggest any other Christmas song that they could sing together. Anyone want to throw any other Christmas songs out there, or just a whole heap of Christmas songs that they could all sing together?
Let's all them get them.
Sorry, Laura, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think it'd be quite amusing to get them all to do the waitresses rapping Christmas. Christmas rapping, I think that'd be quite amusing.
I was going to say our twist could be that the Mind Aid people would fly over to join us on Christmas Island, and then they would join the lineup on stage for their song, so that Christmas Island would totally be taken over.
Yeah, this is going to be some rocking party. I'm loving this. Absolutely loving it.
Make it happen. Make it happen.
Make it happen. We want Christmas Island for all these people.
That's a great show. I was thinking Mind Aid before, but happy to throw Rapping Christmas in. That's genius. If anyone's got any other Christmas songs they want to be thrown into the mix, speak it now or forever hold your peace. There can never be too many Christmas songs.
There are so many.
White for me.
White Christmas, yeah, that's in. That makes it in there. Okay.
Like that Carol of the Bells, you know, the one out of Home Alone, but there's not really much singing to it. You know that.
I reckon Carol of the Bells by the Shits and Giggles ladies. Yeah, that's in. The Fantastival judges have just confirmed that's been allowed, and the Shits and Giggles ladies are making their first singing appearance at It's a Christmas Cracker. So amazing stuff there. So we've got It's a Christmas Cracker taking place on Christmas Island. The Heavy North are going to get us going, and they're going to sing Please Come Home for Christmas, followed by Apollo Junction, who are going to sing Merry Christmas Everyone. The Great Leslie are going to play A Spaceman Came Travelling. Nice Guy are going to sing Happy Xmas War Is Over. Frank Ocean's going to sing It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas. Then we're going to have Carol of the Bells by the Shits and Giggles ladies. Then the Mind Aid folks are coming in to sing Mind Aid. And for one truly big encore to end all encores, everyone's going to sing Rapping Christmas together.
That is some awesome festival right there.
That is amazing. And to have one of the biggest Christmas parties ever after the encore, which will go on till late in the morning on Christmas Island. So that's incredible. So I guess to finish then, let's find out what you guys have got planned for Christmas, what Christmas means to you, and what your hopes and aspirations are for 2023. So Jodi, I've got you down first for this one. What are you going to do for Christmas this year? And then what are you hoping for in 2023?
Christmas this year, I think it'll be, I don't know where I'm going to live for Christmas. I'm going to bring the tone down. So I don't know where I'm going to be.
Spare room, that's where you might be.
Spare room in pretty likely. So, but hopefully wherever I am, I would like to have my mum and dad round and my granny round, and we're going to have like a vegan Christmas dinner type situation. And I'm going to really teach them like that I have came into my own this year and learned how to cook. So I'll do all the cooking. So that's what I'll be doing on Christmas Day. And then 2023, I want to bring out more songs. I need to get my SHIT together and record more this year, because last year it was really difficult to record because I was quite busy. But yeah, just hoping to bring out new stuff and do some good shows. I've got my headline show in February, so that'll be a good kind of beginning of the year, because let's be honest, January is a write-off. So I'll just be preparing for that and then hoping that I can get on the bill for some festivals, fingers crossed.
Looking forward to seeing what 2023 has in store for you. I saw your social post about Era 3 and there was a very good response to that, and everyone's really excited to see where that's going to go. So wish you all the best with that, Jodi. Looking forward to seeing where that takes you. Kimbo?
Thank you.
Kimbo, what about you? What about you for Christmas, Kimbo? What have you got planned, and what are your aspirations for 23?
Christmas, I'm going home to my mum and dad's in Huntly, so about 40 miles away from Aberdeen. Paula has been there, and Jodi has been there, so they know where we're at. So just with all my family and siblings, so there will literally be about 565 million of us at the table, because there's so many of us. No, I think it's about 25, seriously, at the Christmas table, so that'll be crazy with all the kids. But I'm really looking forward to that, and I just love being with the family, so that'll be really nice. And into 2023, I am going back into hospital for some treatments and stuff, just maintenance treatment. So I'll use this again as an opportunity to tell people to check their boobs, because it's very important. So just for me, really, to keep staying healthy and to be happy, which I am. I've had the best time this year, and I think I'm just looking forward to loads more gigs and seeing people and festivals and just loving life. I'm just grabbing it right back and having the best time ever. And that's largely because of these people on this call. So yeah, and all the people that just have supported on Twitter. So lots of love to everybody for that.
Amazing. And hopefully Sessions 2023, hopefully, fingers crossed, that happens.
Hopefully. Well, I think, we are looking to maybe do it. I haven't had time to organise a Sessions in Scotland, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed that if it doesn't happen in 2023, it'll definitely happen in 2024. But I kind of feel a little bit like, how could we top what we did, because it was pretty incredible. So, yes, but keep your eyes peeled. We'll see what we can do.
They will certainly be peeled. So, Paula, what about you? What are your plans for Christmas, and what are you hoping for in 2023?
Well, I go down to my sisters, the two sisters and their families, and my mum. We all go down there. So, it's about 15 miles, I suppose, from Belfast, so not too far away. And then I'm obviously off work for 2 weeks, so I'm actually quite looking forward to just actually relaxing and not really travelling around too much, although I think I've got 4 gigs in January whenever you're supposed to take things early, but I think they're all, apart from one, now at home. So next year, just continuing on, just enjoying things. Laura and I keep saying, oh yeah, we'll have to cut down on all this travelling, and then you see another gig and then, oh right, okay, let's do that. And obviously continue on with the Shits and Giggles, continue on with the Some Might Say, and just going to the gigs and just enjoying life, doing a bit more travelling as well. So that's about it.
Great stuff.
Maybe a gig or two more in Belfast. Not me. I think a few bands now are starting to look to come over here, so that would be amazing. That was actually another highlight of having Dictator over. They came over with the ratings, so that was actually a bit of a buzz as well. So that would be good if a few more came this side of the water as well. So
hopefully see a few more bands come to Belfast, fingers crossed. Laura Horton, what about yourself? What are your plans for Christmas, and what are your hopes for 2023?
Pretty similar. I've got a family full Christmas, so parents and my siblings and all their children and my kids. So yeah, we tend to that's kind of Christmas for me. Just spending actual time with them, and with nothing else kind of on the agenda, which is always really important. So yeah, so we'll do that. My daughter's now 16, but I'm hyping her up on a daily around Christmas, and so it's really, really exciting for us. Not quite so when she's playing Christmas music continuously, though. That's when I think I've probably pushed it too far. But yeah, no, so really, really looking forward to that. And then my aspirations for 2023, a bit like everyone else really, is to continue. My diary is pretty much full already up until July, so it's a genuine call. If you've got any gigs planned, hurry up so I can get them in the diary, otherwise I'm not going to be able to see you. But and I'm not just saying this, really, really looking forward to going to see Sylvie, a headlining gig in February, so I'll be going over there. So looking forward to that, as well as lots of other things planned. Continue to see how far, I guess, not only how far I suppose we can push, Shits and Giggles in a, to kind of get some more of these really important topics discussed, but while keeping kind of the lightheartedness of us, I suppose, against that. But yeah, no, I think it'll be an interesting time, and on a bit of a downer. It's going to be a really tough time, I think, for many next year. So from my working life, I'm experiencing lots of kind of issues and lots of kind of concerns about that. So I'm thinking about how can we do things to kind of, I suppose, bring a little bit more joy, a bit more happiness to people, and kind of just help them try and navigate this real complex time. And I suppose that's what we're doing. So we found what that is for us. It's about getting together. It's about going to see live music. And if there's ways that we can bring that to people who aren't fortunate enough to have found that yet, then that's kind of my mission for 2023.
Great stuff. Great mission.
Laura for PM.
Got my vote, Laura. Got my vote all day long.
I forgot to mention, Stephen, that she's over next weekend to see Westlife in Belfast.
I think you've got to get
That's going to be the highlight of her year.
Do you know,
you'd have asked me next week.
That weekend in Belfast, when we were talking about Westlife, I kept getting adverts for them everywhere on my social media. I'm blaming you for that, Paula. I'm blaming you for that.
Yeah, I am ending my year with Westlife.
When you're looking like that.
She's really happy.
No such thing as a guilty pleasure on this podcast. Only pleasure. I'm sure you'll be the first two standing up at Westlife screaming as loud as you can at Shane and Mark and the boys. See, everyone knows their names anyway. Laura Jane, what about you? What are your plans for Christmas and what are your hopes for 2023?
Yeah, just kind of echoing what everybody else has said about spending a little bit of time with family. My daughter moved a little bit further away this last year, so we haven't seen quite so much of her. My son's in the army and he's been based down south, so I've hardly seen him at all. So yeah, it'll be me, my kids and my old mum spending a bit of time together, and then all the dogs, which is just mental. But yeah. So yeah, as for next year, gosh, just wanting to spend some more time with these girls. I mean, why wouldn't I? I'm sure that we'll be all over the place to gigs and festivals and things, and we've got all sorts planned already. And hopefully releasing a little bit more music, fingers crossed.
You'll have to get yourself out on a couple more Friday nights for inspiration, right?
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't want to kiss on a Friday night? Come on. Oh, yeah. Stop making me think about that. Okay. Yeah. And yeah, maybe some more gigs if I can, like, get a bit better at playing guitar myself.
Watch this space. We'll see. So that is it, everyone. Thank you for listening to the 114th episode of the Fantastival Podcast. If you've enjoyed this one, please subscribe. Give the Fantastival Podcast a review. You can rate the show now on Spotify. You can even comment on the show now on Spotify. So make sure if you're listening that you do. And you can recommend this to all of your families and friends. All these lovely ladies are on Twitter. Actually, we haven't shouted out your Twitter. So if anyone wants to shout out Shits and Giggles, or some might say, or any Twitter handles that you want to do, feel free to do so. So anyone want to shout out their Twitter handles or anything they want to recommend?
Definitely follow the musicians like Jodi on Spotify. That's going to be my big campaign for next year. So fine following them on Twitter, but you have to follow them on Spotify. So follow Jodi. Jodi, what's your Spotify?
I think it's just Sylvie. But sometimes you need to put in a song name after it as well, because I'm not popular enough I'm not the most popular Sylvie, because they're like composers from Italy or something that have the word Sylvie in their name. So put in like Sylvie Burning and I should come up, hopefully.
And I guess that's quite, to go a bit off topic, Joe, that's quite important, right? That people pre-save tracks. I think that's getting more and more, I've seen more and more artists trying to push the pre-save element of tracks, right?
Yeah, so I'd never done it before, and then because when I uploaded, you should theoretically upload your track 4 weeks to Spotify before it even goes out, and I didn't do that and missed the deadline to pitch it to editorial playlists, which quite hurts your chances of going on the algorithm and stuff. So to kind of combat that, I asked people to pre-save for the first time. I think I only did it once before, and it got loads of pre-saves, and it meant that it got put on loads of playlists, even if it wasn't an editorial playlist. It basically went on people's radio, like their Spotify radio thing, and that really, really helped, and I've noticed a massive difference compared to other releases. So yeah, definitely following on Spotify is a big one, because it means that they'll come up in your release radar and everything like that, and on more chance of coming up on the radio thing, like the autoplay thing. So yeah,
even on that daily mix, there's ones that I have followed in there, and then it comes up in my daily mix, that I think there's up to 5 daily mixes. So definitely, just don't like people's songs, follow them as well to get their numbers up on Spotify as well, so it can appear in the likes of those daily mixes.
That's a great shout, Paula. Kimbo, do you want to shout out your younger brother, because I guess we mentioned him briefly before. He's another one who we can give a big shout out to from a new music perspective.
So Michael is on Twitter, Michael Forsyth. Is it Michael Forsyth Music? I don't even know, because I'm not currently on right now. That's too bad. But if you follow me, then follow my brother. So I'm at Forsyth K2, and then when the podcast goes out, I will tag him in it as well, Steve. So Michael is currently releasing a song a week for 30 weeks. I think we're at week 6 or something right now. He's got a track out. When this airs, he'll have had a track out called Stop for the World. We've also got a very special track coming just before Christmas that he's re-releasing, and then his plan is to do an album probably about May time 2023, so he'll have some things that people haven't heard coming out into the new year, and then he will be releasing an album. So I'm just really pleased to hear him back doing his music again, and hopefully we're getting lots of shares and streams and listeners and stuff, so, and hopefully get a couple more gigs lined up for Michael as well. He supported Arcade State in Glasgow. It's the only Arcade State gig that I don't think I went to this year.
He was so good. Kimberley, I told you that. Like the set of hypes on him, amazing.
Yeah. So hopefully get some more gigs for Michael next year, and really appreciate all the support.
So go and give Michael a follow. Go and give Nice Guy a follow. Go and give the great Leslie a follow. Go and give these ladies a follow. Go and give Shits and Giggles a follow. And go and follow Fantastival P as well. Unfortunately, we can't play music on this podcast, but I'll get some tracks from these ladies. We'll make a nice little Christmas Spotify playlist, and that'll be in the episode description. So, ladies, a massive thank you. Some of you for coming back for the second time. Some of you come back for the third time. So, incredible to have you back. How have you found, I guess, all being together and not having one of you have to lead the conversation? How have you found it all? It's been lovely having you. I can see how close you are in the repertoire. I can tell that you were all getting quite emotional speaking about the sessions and when you were talking about it. So it seems you've got such a nice little bond. How have you found all being together this evening?
Good.
No. Almost for some of us, isn't it? So it's kind of like, we're here again,
This is what we do. And Jodi sends me about 50 voice notes a day that are about 10 minutes long, so I talk all the time as well.
Letting me be a Shits and Giggles gal for the evening.
Yes. No.
What about you? What's your 2023 goals, Steve?
Oh my, probably to keep this podcast going and see where the podcast goes. And the last week or two, I'm thinking more about how I can make like more out of it in terms of, do I do a compilation CD with all my guests? How do I expand it? So we'll see where 2023 takes the podcast. And I guess for me to try and keep my daughters on the straight and narrow and see how they get on in life, because it's bloody hard work being a parent without trying to drop an F-bomb. It's very hard work. It's very hard work, as some of these ladies can attest to. It's very difficult, and parents do a great job. So yeah, that's what I've got planned for 2023. Ladies, honestly, it's been a pleasure having you all back on. I can't wait to see how 2023 goes for all of you. I look forward to watching all your videos, seeing all your tweets about hanging out with each other, being at gigs, just watching your friendship continue to blossom, which has been fantastic to see. So that is it, everyone. A Fantastival Podcast for 2022 is done. I'll be back with 115 in January 2023. So please make sure to join me. But until then, stay safe, my Fantastival friends. Please continue to spread the word. Have a very Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year. And thanks for listening.